later.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
At midnight.
How about
There
tomorrow?
we go, midnight.
Or tomorrow.
Midnight or tomorrow. You
That's
stay
right.
in. You don't need to go outside right now.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it does feel like fall, doesn't it? It's 68 degrees outside. And usually this time of night over the last week or two, we've been talking about 70. So that's already a change. We're also looking at a little bit of fog in the forecast in Long Beach right now. And we are expecting overnight and morning low clouds and fog in the forecast over the next couple of days. As we get a look at radar tonight, it is mostly clear, even though we are dealing with just a bit of fog along the coast, and that will continue to be the case. We do have a wind advisory right there in the high desert. You'll see spots like Lake Los Angeles, Lancaster, Palmdale, Quartz Hill, all affected. This in effect through 9 o'clock, and want to give you a look at wind speeds this evening. Lancaster at a very impressive 30 miles an hour, and up in the Apple Valley, 28 miles an hour. The warmer colors on your screen representing the windiest spots tonight. Other than that, we're pretty calm wind-wise, and temperature-wise, we're pretty mild. We're in the 60s and the 70s out there this evening. Expecting more cooling on the way. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Back to you.
Thank you.
It finally is feeling like fall. Thank goodness for that.
Hallelujah.
It's cooling down.
It is cooling down, but we don't want to get too used to it because it could potentially warm up again. What goes down must come up. I was going to say what goes up must come down, but you know,
Same idea.
You know what I'm saying, right? I just reversed the whole thing around.
By the way, you have some very fancy new graphics that you're going to
do
share with
have
us
some
tonight,
new
don't you?
She's been working very hard on this.
Yes, we all have.
Pretend to
I
like.
can't wait. I haven't seen them yet. I mean, you did a little thing.
No, it's actually really cool.
A little bit a minute ago, but I'm going to watch this time.
Yeah, just a few minor tweaks, but it's looking great. So we've been having a lot of fun with that.
I'm usually writing down my ad libs during this segment,
oh,
so
okay. It's all scripted. No,
Right.
Rick's not that good, right? Just kidding. All right. Well, you got to pay attention now. There we go, because we do have a few things to show you, and we do have a cool down in store, and I know a lot of us are pretty excited about it. So let's get right to it. We'll show you exactly how much cooler it's getting. And that's right here in the valley. Along the coast, though, temperatures, of course, a little cooler. You'll see downtown right now at 68, Riverside at 77, Ontario 76, Lancaster 75, and Oxnard at a pretty cool 61 degrees. As we get a look at your weather headlines right here, low pressure in the forecast, below average temperatures overnight and morning, low clouds and fog, and warming up just a little later in the week. Earlier today, we got up to 84 degrees. That was for downtown, averages 82, and record numbers 106. So didn't get anywhere too close to that. Tonight, temperature is getting down to the 60s, 66 degrees, low cloud cover in the forecast. As we head into the morning hours, 70 degrees with some clouds out there. As we carry on through the afternoon, tomorrow, 79 degrees, mostly sunny and warm. We're looking at a southwest wind between 5 and 15 miles an hour. You'll see temperatures tomorrow looking like this across the board. Riverside getting up to 87, Ontario 86, Irvine 82, Lancaster 88, and Oxnard getting up to about 68 degrees. Your 5-day forecast for the valleys and the Inland Empire, 80s, eventually turning to 90. So we were talking about temperatures getting a little warmer later in the week, and there you have it, that offshore flow pushing the clouds out of the forecast and making temperatures just a little warmer. For the Basin in Orange County, upper 70s turning to 80s and upper 80s by the time we hit the weekend. Rick and Sharon, back to you. And finally starting to feel like fall again, but will the cooler temperatures last? We'll have that full forecast coming right up.
Either way with an answer there, but
All right, so you sort of kept it neutral. Good work.
Well, the way never mind. She set it up to you.
I think.
We'd go. We were like,
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
We love
All right.
Suzanne.
You got out of that one.
You
for now.
did. You did.
All right. All right, you guys, I'm going to focus your attention.
Okay.
Outside, take a look. Catalina, great shot right there. And as we take you out to the ocean, we're looking at a little bit of fog, and closer to home at the coast, we're looking at a little bit of fog as well. We're also looking at windy conditions. There's still a wind advisory for the Antelope Valley. It's in effect through 9 o'clock, and that's 9 o'clock this evening, so just less than 15 minutes to go. Regardless, still looking at pretty windy conditions up there. Take a look, 27 miles an hour in Lancaster, 27 in the Apple Valley. Other than that, pretty calm wind-wise and temperature-wise, we're pretty mild this evening. We're at 67 right here at the Broadcast Center in Studio City. Chino Hills at 70 as we take you to Dana Point, 69 degrees, taking you to Westchester, 68. Over to Studio City, 70 degrees, and right here at the Broadcast Center, just a little cooler at 67. La Crescenta, 67, as we head over to Falling Springs. Up in the mountains there, 60 degrees, and finally checking in with Castaic through the 5, through the Grapevine, 62, and Santa Clarita currently at 66. 67 degrees. And finally, checking in with Adelanto, 71, Barstow at 76. And as we head over to the Lucerne Valley, where it is quite windy right now, we're also looking at temperatures in the 60s. Earlier today, we made it to 84 in downtown. We were technically above average. And over the next 24 hours, we're expecting 60s, 70s, and by the afternoon, mostly sunny at 79 degrees for downtown. Burbank at 80, Ontario 86, Lancaster 88, and Oxnard at the coast, the Ventura County coastline in the upper 60s under foggy conditions in the morning hours. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're expecting fog to span potentially into the basin and into our inland valleys as well. By the 9 o'clock hour, still the case, and even by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're dealing with fog, but starting to recede back toward the coastline by the late morning. We're looking at low pressure in the forecast. That trough eventually digging into Southern California, and as it does, temperatures are eventually going to cool down. High pressure was dominating, but again, that is no longer the case, at least for now. Sitting to our south, we are tracking a hurricane. Want to show you Maria right here, or Miriam, excuse me, 3 turning into a 2. So Miriam was a Category 3, now Category 2, and eventually turning into a Category 1. Doesn't look like it's going to affect us too much, but Baja could potentially be affected in a matter of a few days. So we're going to continue to track Miriam for you over the next couple of days. Until then, we are tracking our local forecast here at home, taking you through the valleys in the Inland Empire. 80s in the forecast, turning to 90s, mid-90s, keeping things that way through your Friday and Saturday. So a little cooler now, but a little warmer later in the week. We are out of the triple digits, though, so that's good news if you don't like the heat. For the basin in Orange County, we're flirting with the 70s, so technically we are a little below average over the next couple of days, hitting average temperatures by your Thursday, partly sunny by your Friday, and a little warmer by the time we hit the weekend. And finally, taking you to the coast, where we're looking at temperatures in the low 70s, turning to the mid to upper 70s, and we're flirting with the 80s by the time we hit the weekend. So beach weather above average and starting to feel like summer all over again, even though technically it is fall now. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
All right, Evelyn.
Well, the good news in regard to that, Sylvia, is actually temperatures are starting to cool down, so the fire weather will probably be obsolete over the next couple of days. Great news because it has been quite hot out there. As we take a look right now from our Mount Wilson camera, we're looking at a little bit of low cloud cover in the mix. And other than that, clear into our inland spots. We are expecting some of that fog to span into the basin, into our inland spots. You'll see on radar right here, we're not seeing a whole lot show up, but eventually we will see that fog into the overnight hours. We did have a wind advisory for the Antelope Valley. It's expired, but regardless, we're still looking at windy conditions in the high desert there. Take a look, 24-mile-an-hour sustained winds, the Apple Valley at 26, a lot calmer for everybody else this evening. Temperature-wise this evening, we're in the 60s, we're in the 70s, 72 in Anaheim, Pasadena at 69, Lancaster 74, and heading to the coast, Santa Monica, we're currently at 68 degrees. So tonight temperatures will start to drop down into the 60s, a little bit of a westerly breeze bringing the low clouds into the forecast. By the morning hours, we're at about 70. We're expecting some low cloud cover out there and still expecting a little bit of a westerly breeze between 5 and 15 miles an hour. And finally, taking a look at temperatures by tomorrow afternoon, we're flirting with the 80s, so we're technically below average for this time of year for the basin. Mostly sunny and warm, and we are looking at a southwesterly wind coming in between 5 and 15 miles an hour in the afternoon hours. So a little more cloud cover, a little cooler, starting to feel like fall. But the big question is, will it last through the week? Well, we'll have that extended forecast coming up in just a little bit, so don't go away. Lena and Sylvia, back to you.
Okay.
Hotter temperatures, but I'm pretty excited about this cool down as well. So it's already entering the pictures. We're getting a look outside right now from our Hollywood Hills camera. We're overlooking downtown, and there's that fog already starting to roll in. As a result, it'll be a little cooler, and of course, it's already a little cloudier out there. Temperatures a little cooler than what we've been used to this time of night. We're currently at 66 degrees. That's right here at the Broadcast Center in Studio City. Downtown at 67, Riverside 74, Irvine at 70, Lancaster 73, and at the coast, the Ventura County coastline currently in the low 60s. So low pressure is making its way into the forecast. Below average temperatures. Overnight and morning low clouds and fog already the case. We are expecting a bit of a warm up as we head into the later part of the week. With that, we are seeing some offshore flow. Earlier today, we got up to about 84 in downtown. Average is 82. So we were a couple degrees above average. By tomorrow, we're going to cool it down a little bit. We're actually going to be a bit below average over the next 24 hours. We're expecting 60s, 70s, and we're flirting with the 80s under mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. Burbank tomorrow getting up to 80, Ontario 86, Irvine getting up to about 82, Lancaster 88. At the coast, upper 60s. It's a little chillier. That's because we're expecting more fog by 8 a.m. Futurecast is showing you a bit of cloud cover rather at the coast by 9 a.m. Starting to recede back toward the coastline a bit, but even by the 10 o'clock hour, we're pretty socked in along the coastline, but we are expecting clearer conditions in the basin and clearer conditions into our inland spots. But for tonight, looks like the fog could span into some of our inland valleys and certainly into the basin right there. For the valleys in the Inland Empire tomorrow, we are expecting plenty of sunshine by the afternoon, partly sunny by your Wednesday, and warming up as we head into Thursday, Friday, and your weekend. Lena and Sylvia, back to you. Temperatures finally starting to cool down. We're going to have that full forecast coming right up.
Evelyn Taft here now to talk about this wonderful cool down that we have. I mean, this is super nice.
We've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
Feels like fall in the air.
It really does, and it is fall in
Yeah.
the air because
Right.
technically, as you
Yeah.
know, Saturday was the first day of fall.
That's right.
In the morning hours, and it still feels like it, but don't get too used to it.
Oh,
That's the one thing I have to say. It's not going to stay this cool for long, and we'll tell you exactly when things are going to change and exactly what to expect over the next couple of days. So let's take you outside first and foremost to Long Beach. We hit the afternoon, so temperatures right now in the 60s across the board. A few 70s out there as well. 74 in Riverside, 73 in Ontario this evening, in Lancaster at 73 degrees as well. Earlier today, we made it to 84 in downtown. Average is 82, so we were a couple degrees below average. And as we head to tomorrow, we were a couple degrees above average. Tomorrow, a couple degrees below. 66, that's going to be the forecast low tonight. By tomorrow morning, we're up to about 70 degrees. A little bit of cloud cover for you and a little bit of a southwesterly breeze. We're flirting with the 80s. We are well below average, mostly sunny and warm though. But in the morning, we are expecting that fog, as we mentioned. And you'll see a southwesterly wind coming in between 5 and 15 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon. Burbank getting up to 80, Ontario 86, Irvine 82, Lancaster 88. And along the Ventura County coastline, Oxnard getting up to about 68 degrees in the morning hours. As we look at your forecast right here, that ridge of high pressure is going to start to break down. We're eventually going to cool down. Low pressure, that trough, is going to start to dig into Southern California. And as it does, well, we're already looking at the effects. Overnight, morning, low clouds and fog, already feeling a bit cooler out there and continuing to feel a bit cooler as we head into the next couple of days. For the basin in Orange County, we're flirting with the 80s over the next couple of days and then getting back up to the 80s by the time we hit the end of the week and the weekend. For the coast, low 70s turning to mid to upper 70s, flirting with 80, so calling it beach weather by Saturday, still dealing with a bit of fog there. And finally, for the valleys in the Inland Empire, 80s eventually turning to the 90s by the time we hit Thursday, Friday, and the remainder of your weekend. Lena and Sylvia, back to you.
All right, thank you.
And temperatures finally starting to cool off a bit. We'll have that full forecast coming up.
And here's what's hot on KCAL9.com.
I can't wait.
Drum roll, please.
Woo! It's going to be a blast. We've got so much exciting stuff to talk about this evening. First of all, let's start off with those cooler temperatures as we get a look outside from our Sierra cam. We're going to see a little bit of that low cloud cover starting to spill in, and that's what's going to keep us a little cooler, not only at the coast, but potentially in the basin and into our inland valleys as well. Current conditions in Long Beach. We are dealing with a bit of fog right here as we get a look at this live shot. 68 degrees, a little bit of a breeze coming from the west-northwest. Pretty humid out there. You may have felt that earlier today, but it should feel a little drier over the next few days. Your weather headline showing you low pressure, below average temperatures, overnight, morning, low clouds and fog, and a warm up a little later in the week. Earlier today, we got up to 84 in downtown, so we were technically a couple degrees above average for this time of year, but as we head into tomorrow, could see below average numbers. 60s into the overnight hours with low clouds in the forecast. As we head into the morning hours, 70 degrees with a bit of low cloud cover as well through the basin. At the coast, westerly wind coming in between 5 and 15 miles an hour. And finally, by tomorrow afternoon, we are flirting with 80 degrees. Should be mostly sunny, still a little bit of cloud cover in the mix, and just a little bit of a southwesterly breeze by tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon look like this. Burbank, 80 degrees. degrees, Ontario 86, Irvine 82, Lancaster 88, and Oxnard along the Ventura County coastline getting only to the upper 60s. That's because we are dealing with plenty of fog along the coast in the morning hours. By 8 o'clock, pretty socked in, not just along the coast actually, but into the basin to some of our inland valleys as well. By 9 a.m., we're still looking at a foggy forecast, and by 10 o'clock, that fog starts to ever so slightly recede back toward the coastline, but we're still looking at pretty foggy conditions even by the late morning hours. No surprise, because we do have low pressure sitting to our north. That's going to start to dig into our forecast, that trough right here. And with that, we will see cooler temperatures. High pressure starting to break down, low pressure starting to work its way in. And with that, overnight and morning low clouds and fog. And by the afternoon, expecting partly to mostly sunny skies. With the exception of our inland spots, we are expecting a little more sunshine there, at least for the next 24 hours. 80s. Then as we head into Wednesday, a little bit of cloud cover warming up by your Thursday and Friday, expecting the offshore conditions to kick in. And with that, we're going to see very clear conditions, warm conditions, and drier conditions as we head toward the weekend there. For the basin in Orange County, upper 70s. And as we head into Thursday and Friday, 80s and upper 80s by your Saturday. Remember, it was a little humid today, but humidity going down a bit. Temperatures also coming down along with that for the coast. Low 70s over the next few days. Pretty mild and warm as we head toward the later part of the week. Morning fog, but we're up into the upper 70s. And by your Saturday, we're flirting with 80 degrees. So we're calling it beach weather, expecting more sunshine by the coast in the afternoon. Until then, again, a little cooler, but it will be a little warmer. So don't get too used to these fall-like temperatures. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
Gotta like